fox after my chicken. Get it, Chuck! Friends, welcome back. I'm Jason, and do you consider yourself prepared? What does that even mean, to be prepared? My approach to preparedness is the same as my approach to fitness. I want to be prepared for anything and everything that might come my way. You're never going to be able to predict what comes at you. You're never going to be able to predict what actually you need to be prepared for. So you want to be as well-rounded and as broad, all-encompassing as you can possibly be. Sassafras. I wish you had smell-o-vision. So good. Smells like root beer. It's kind of like the boxer that spends his whole life preparing for the big fight, you know. He's on it. He's on his game. He's fast. His jabs and his crosses are dialed in. But he gets to the arena, he gets to the boxing ring, and his opponent wants to grapple, wants to jiu-jitsu, wants to armbar and choke him out. Suddenly, he's in a lot of trouble because he's prepared specifically for the one thing, you know. And that's not, I don't want to ever be in that situation. I want to be, like I said before, as well-rounded as possible, not specifically for fighting, you know, hand-to-hand combat. I think you guys get the analogy. I want to be as well-versed in as many possible things as possible. And that's just what I'm passionate about. That's what I enjoy. Some guys are into golf. You know, some guys are into watching football games on Sunday. I am into preparedness. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I want to be stronger and fitter and faster and ready for anything and everything. So when everything goes wrong, when everything goes south in the least predictable way, are you going to be ready for it? I'm upping my skills as far as first aid. I'm going to be going to a refuge medical course out in, I guess it's Oklahoma. I'm going to be doing that in the fall because my first aid skills are not where they need to be. I need to really improve upon that because when things go wrong, when people get hurt, if I hurt myself, people might be looking towards me to solve that problem. And if I can't, man, that weighs heavy on me. And while I don't enjoy the first aid training, I don't enjoy the medical training that much. It's not fun and exciting to me, really. It's a requirement. It's like I tell my kids all the time, like, why do we have to do this? Why do I have to learn this thing? It's not because it's fun. It's not because it's enjoyable. You don't do math because you like math. You do math because it's required in life for you to know how to add. I'm sorry. You can't go through life being an idiot. I guess you can, but you'll have a really tough time. And when life calls upon you to solve problems that involve math, you will fall short of the mark and let yourself and everyone else around you down. And who wants that? And you could be the baddest dude on the block. I mean, you could be able to solve all the problems, be the smartest, be the fastest, whatever. But if you don't have amigos in your corner, you're going to be limited. You can only do so much as one guy. You've only got so many hours in the day. You've only got so many fingers. You only got so many hands. You can only solve so many problems as an individual. You've got to build up the people around you, and that starts with your family. Like my kids, for example. My house flooded not long ago. You know, it was a disaster. My son came up to me and said, "Hey, Dad, the house is flooded." And I was like, "What do you mean it's flooded?" And we ran home. Disaster. It's raining from the ceiling in my basement. Anyway, my kids were the first on the scene, and they didn't know how to turn off the water. They didn't know how to turn it off, and that is my fault. I have failed them. I have failed to prepare them for the what ifs in that scenario. So I took that opportunity, the disaster, as horrible as it was, to teach my kids something valuable that might save them thousands and thousands of dollars in the future in their own homes potentially. I showed them how to turn off the water. I said, this is the main shut off of the water of the house. This is how you turn off the toilet, the water to the toilet, because that's what was causing the problems. So they've learned something valuable there, I hope. And maybe they can at least fix that problem in the future, thanks to my instruction. A little bit late, obviously. I think we're only really as prepared as is the people that we have in our lives, because if it's just you and things really go south, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So we've got to put some effort into preparing the people around us, our loved ones, our family, our friends. We've got to put just as much effort into that as we do ourselves. We have to lead by example, I think. If you're not exercising, if you're not reading, if you're not gaining knowledge, if you're not doing the things, how can you possibly tell other people that they need to be? You have to lead by example. And as you get older, obviously you can't, do all the things that maybe you used to be able to do, but that doesn't mean that you can't put in the effort to do as much as you can. One of the best instructors, teachers that I've ever had the privilege of working with was Coach Mike Bergner. He was an Olympic-style weightlifting coach. I was a competitive Olympic-style weightlifter when I was in college, and then I got into strength and conditioning, and I learned a lot from him through his mentorship. I didn't see him do a whole lot of snatch and clean and jerk, a little bit of cleans and stuff, but his body, as he aged, wasn't able to do some of the things that he used to be able to do. However, he still, even in his 80s, he's still in the gym doing as much as he can, limitations, obviously, but he's still leading by example. You're never too old or too broken or whatever, all the excuses people make, to continue to improve yourself, to continue to fight, keep on pushing. And when people see that, the younger generation sees that, they're encouraged and they're motivated, and they see, even if it's just you showing up, you're showing up to whatever it is, showing up to an event, to a training session, to a class, whatever, it doesn't matter. They see you there, they see you present, and they see that there's somebody that they can look up to, and it's encouraging to them. And that's who I want to be. I want to be that guy. I appreciate those mentors that are in my life still and in the past, and I aspire to be more like them. I want to be a better teacher to my kids. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better friend. I want to be able to help. I want to be ready, willing, and able to help when someone calls upon me. I think another aspect of preparedness that a lot of people don't talk about and discuss much is just general tolerance to discomfort and heat and cold. How well would you fare on a hot summer day? Let's say it's 95 degrees outside, crazy high humidity like it's probably going to be today. How well would you fare out in it? If you were working, had to get something done, needed to get done today, had to happen. How well would you fare in those conditions if you're completely unacclimated to that environment? If you live inside air conditioning, you go from an air-conditioned box to an air-conditioned car into another air-conditioned box and back and forth, and you very rarely get outside for more than, a 2-minute period. How well will you do? Or will you succumb to those elements and have a heat stroke? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section if that's you, and you're aware of that. And that's step one. Same thing in the cold. How well do you cope with numb fingers and toes and just being out in the elements and being uncomfortable and miserable? Some people crumble when they're uncomfortable, and they are terrified of being uncomfortable for even a short period of time, and they avoid it at all costs. And I'm not saying that we should, spend all of our days in misery, pushing the envelope and being uncomfortable and miserable, sleeping outside every single day of our lives. I think there's we work hard. We should be able to be comfortable from time to time. But what I'm saying is that you need to kind of expose yourself to those things. I need to do more of that as well. I need to expose myself to the elements and be more durable. Another key factor that I'm learning more and more is a balance, trying to figure out a balance of being ready and pushing the envelope. For example, if I was to go out and run a marathon today, I would be completely useless tomorrow. I would be broken and sore and dehydrated probably and just completely exhausted and wore out. I would not be fit for service tomorrow if I did that today, if that makes sense. So our training, the things that we do to get our minds, our bodies ready for service need to not break us. I mean, there's times when you should push it and see what you're capable of doing and see how far you can push your limits. There's nothing wrong with that. A little bit of a gamble though, because you never know when life is going to call upon you. You never know, and you can't say to the grizzly bear that's chasing you down, you can't say, "Whoa, bear, whoa, my legs are sore, okay? I need you to wait, give me at least 3 or 4 days of recovery time. Let me get properly hydrated, and then you can chase me." That's not how it works. When the zombies are after your brains, they're after your brains, and they don't care that it was leg day yesterday. How do you typically handle stressful situations? Are you the type of person that gets angry, gets pissed, furious, screams, yells? Are you the type of person that freezes, tries to pretend that it's not happening? Are you the type of person that stays calm and under control and attempts to solve the problem one step at a time? What kind of person are you? Be honest. Some of that, is slightly out of our control. We're working with the hand that we've been dealt, and our demeanor, our disposition, our attitude is controlled by that. But some of that is a choice. I think a lot of that is a choice. I can choose to be furious about this terrible situation that's come my way. I can choose to be pissed. I can choose to freak out and help no one. Or I can choose to stay calm, cool, and collected and solve this problem. Now, I'm not saying there's not a benefit, some sort of something to be gained from getting angry from time to time, having righteous anger and expressing that, but always have it under control. Never lose the control. So I think step one, probably, if I was to create a step one, is to determine what the most likely scenarios are. What do you really need to be prepared for? If you live in South Florida, you probably should prepare for the next hurricane. Just saying, just a hunch that I have. There might be another storm come your way. If you live in downtown Atlanta, you should probably be prepared for some sort of human conflict, some sort of confrontation between you and another human being or multiple human beings, because it's probably the most likely thing that might come your way. And with that training, with that preparation comes confidence. And with that confidence in a physical altercation, for example, with that confidence comes a ability to avoid those problems in the first place. Because if you carry yourself proudly, if you stand tall and you look fit and you're alert and you're aware and you have the confidence because you've put in the time, you've put in the training, that confidence will deter a lot. You probably won't even know how many times you avoided some sort of conflict just because of your state of being. just because you are alert, aware, and prepared for the situation. You'll never know how many things you've avoided. It's like, my wife, for example, there's no telling how many times she hasn't been, in any kind of altercation with somebody else simply because I was there. There's no way of knowing that. Just me being there has an effect on the environment around you. Same thing could be said for just about every situation that might come your way, is that the more time and preparation you've put into it, the less stressful that situation is going to be. If you come across a car crash and there's people really, really hurt and you have zero training, understandably, you might be pretty dang freaked out, especially if you know the people. If you've had the training and you've put in the time, your confidence is higher and your level of stress that is developed, that is expressed to the people around you, is probably going to be significantly decreased because of your increased confidence and abilities. Now, whether you can actually solve the problem or not, it's hard to say because we just don't know. It's going to be all dependent upon what the actual situation is, what your actual limits of training abilities are, the equipment that you have at your disposal. All of these things are are taken into consideration. And there's just some problems, guys. There's just some things that you're not going to be able to solve. There's some problems that are going to come your way, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that is a frustrating, disheartening place to be in. And I know I've been there. And that is where I put my faith in God. And that's where I give it up. I turn it over. Or at least I try to. I'm not very good at that, actually, to be honest with you. But I turn it over. And I just admit, I'm not perfect. I'm not a machine. And I can't fix everything. And that faith, that confidence gives me courage, because it gives me the ability to hand things over, and I know that's not all on me. And I could keep plugging forward, and I could keep pushing forward, because I'm not alone in this fight. I'm not alone in it. I've got somebody that can help me. I got somebody that can solve the problems that I can't. Something's after my chicken. It's a fox. Get it, Chuck. Get it, Chuck. Fox after my chicken. That's what's been killing my chickens. Missed him. He was sitting right here. Dang it. Didn't have the right equipment. Wasn't skilled enough with the tool that I had. And the fox lives to kill another chicken. Dang it. But I guess learning from our failures, as frustrating as they are just as important as the wins. Dang it. If I had a rifle, that would have been it. That would have been game over for Mr. Fox. Anyway, that was a good 50-yard shot, I'd say. And with my little snub nose here, recently acquired, I've only shot it 10 times, so I haven't practiced with it. Dang it. Anyway, learning from our failures and moving forward, not letting it crush us, not letting it beat us down, to the point of becoming weak, but learning from our failures and pushing forward and striving to be better. Reading more books, doing the push-ups, running the miles, training the people around you, getting your kids ready for life, making them change their own oil and own tires on their cars, teaching them how to handle difficult situations, and leading by example. Be better, Jason. Be better. Friends, I appreciate you watching. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on 3.